darkest of human history, war was personal. You could see who you were fighting, you could hear them breathe, you could look them in the eyes. First came bows and arrows, then swords and shields, then cannons, then rifles, and every time the same desire returned. A little farther, a little stronger, a little deadlier. The evolution of weapons reshaped the evolution of war. Once, humans could see exactly who they were killing. Today, they can destroy entire cities without ever seeing a single face. And sometimes, even the people who build these weapons are shocked by what they create. The most extreme example of this is a bomb so powerful, so absurd, so disproportionate, that even its creators never dared to use it again. Its official name was AN-602. The world remembers it as the Tsar Bomba. The idea of nuclear power did not begin as a weapon. It began as physics. In the 1930s, Hungarian physicist Leo Szilard conceived the idea of a nuclear chain reaction. He realized something terrifying. If this reaction could be controlled, it could power cities. If it couldn't, it could destroy them. In 1939, Szilard convinced his friend Albert Einstein to sign a letter to US President Franklin D. Roosevelt. The letter warned that Nazi Germany might be developing an atomic bomb, and it urged the United States to act. 3 years later, in the deserts of New Mexico, the Manhattan Project was born. On July 16, 1945, humanity crossed a line it could never uncross. The first atomic bomb was detonated in a test called Trinity. The nuclear age had begun. By April 30, 1945, Nazi Germany was defeated. Hitler was dead. The original justification for nuclear weapons had disappeared, but the bomb was ready, and the United States decided to use it. On August 6, 1945, Hiroshima was erased. 3 days later, Nagasaki followed. In seconds, over 200,000 people were dead. The war ended, but something else began. America had just demonstrated a power unlike anything the world had ever seen. And it sent a message, not only to Japan, but to the Soviet Union. President Harry Truman reportedly told Joseph Stalin, "We now have the bomb." Stalin did not reply, but he understood. In 1949, the Soviet Union detonated its first atomic bomb, RDS-1. Now, two superpowers possessed the power of extinction, and neither wanted to be weaker than the other. Bigger bombs followed, then bigger, then bigger. Atomic bombs became hydrogen bombs. Hydrogen bombs became thermonuclear monsters. By the early 1950s, both the United States and the Soviet Union had tested weapons capable of destroying entire cities in seconds. In 1955, Albert Einstein, Bertrand Russell, and 19 other scientists issued a warning to the world. The Russell-Einstein Manifesto. Its message was simple. There would be no winners in a nuclear war, only survivors and the dead. But the race did not stop, it accelerated. After Stalin's death, Soviet leader Nikita Khrushchev wanted to prove something. Not just that the Soviet Union was strong, but that it was unstoppable. He ordered the creation of a bomb unlike anything ever built before. Not just stronger, not just bigger, but fundamentally absurd in its power. On October 30, 1961, on a remote Arctic island called Novaya Zemlya, the Soviet Union detonated it, the Tsar Bomba. The Tsar Bomba weighed 27 tons. It was 8 meters long, over 2 meters wide. Originally, it was designed to have a yield of 100 megatons. Even Soviet scientists thought this was insane, so they reduced its power by half, 50 megatons. Still, it became the most powerful explosion ever caused by humans. To give the plane time to escape, the bomb was dropped with a massive parachute. Even then, the crew had only a 50% chance of survival. When it exploded, the results were beyond comprehension. The fireball reached 8 kilometers wide. The mushroom cloud rose to 64 kilometers, nearly 7 times the height of Mount Everest. The shockwave circled the Earth 3 times. Windows shattered in Finland and Norway. At 55 kilometers away, entire villages were flattened. This single explosion was 1,500 times more powerful than Hiroshima and Nagasaki combined. There is a website that simulates nuclear detonations. Not hypothetically, Not symbolically, mathematically. So let's try something. What if a Tsar Bomba level explosion happened over New York City? The red zone, no survivors. Manhattan, Brooklyn, Queens, the Bronx, Staten Island, gone. Skyscrapers collapse, infrastructure erased, hospitals vaporized, bridges destroyed. More than 8 million people would die instantly. Millions more would suffer burns, radiation sickness, and trauma. And in the following days, millions more would die. Not from the blast, but from what follows. After testing the Tsar Bomba, even its creators were disturbed. Not proud, disturbed. They never tested anything like it again. Because it wasn't a weapon. It was extinction. In war, the goal is to defeat your enemy, not erase humanity. This bomb erased that distinction. Today, over 12,000 nuclear warheads still exist. Many of them are more advanced than anything used during the Cold War. And they exist for one reason: deterrence. The idea that if everyone can end the world, no one will. But history has taught us something terrifying. Human beings are not rational forever. They panic, they miscalculate, they misunderstand. And one day, someone might press a button they can never unpress. The Tsar Bomba was not a symbol of strength. It was a symbol of how far human ambition can go when it forgets wisdom. The question is no longer, can we build something more powerful? The question is, will we survive our own intelligence?